My name is Nigel Mitchell. I'm the nutrition consultant for British Athletics, and I also work with the English Institute of Sports as well.
Hi, my name's Hobson. I'm a registered sports nutritionist and independent nutrition consultant at supplement brand Healthspan UK.
Now, the pre-race meal wants to be something that's really quite simple to digest. And this will be different for everybody. Some people, especially if they're running, have got more sensitive stomachs. So for people who may be slightly more sensitive to the stomach, I go for something super simple, such as rice. If people are travelling, rice pudding can be great. Rice and an omelette is a great one as well.
If you are doing a very long endurance event, then you might want to carb load up to 48 hours before your race. To do this, it's really just about making carbohydrates the focus of your meals. So this is even at the expense of protein. Before you do this, you might want to test it out and just see how your tolerance is to carbohydrates and build yourself up quite slowly, because at large amounts, they can cause a little bit of gut upset. On race day, I think what's important for sprinters, because it's one of those days where you could be doing lots of different events, lots of different heats. So how you eat could be a little bit haphazard. So I'd make sure that you don't end up being hungry, because that is obviously going to distract you from your performance. So carry lots of snacks with you. If you've got time to eat lunch, you've got a big enough time gap before your race, 3 to 4 hours, then you could have something like a chicken pasta salad or a jacket with cottage cheese, something like that. Or if it's in the morning, a nice carby breakfast that's got a bit of protein. It could be porridge with some nuts and fruit, that kind of thing. If you've only got a couple of hours, 1 to 2 hours, like I said, stick to those snacks. This could be the instance where you're between heats and you don't really know what to eat. So cereal bars, it might be fruit smoothies, and actually fruit smoothies are good if you're feeling really nervous and anxious as well about your race and you can't quite handle solid food, so that could be an option.
Sprinter power athletes, nutrition has a bigger role within their training and preparation and recovery than actually the race itself. However, looking at getting the best nutrition for that individual helps to support them, not necessarily just for that individual sprint for that race, but from a recovery perspective or subsequent races going on. So again, what I would tend to be doing is keeping things quite simple for a sprinter. Again, looking at things that are very easily digested, so we've not got a lot of bulk within the bowel. So I'm going back to things like the rice pudding, rice and omelette, porridge. All these can be great. The main thing is that people practice with these in training so that they're fully comfortable with it when they're doing the sprinting.
Energy gels for performance. If you are, I've answered the question earlier about sprinters, if you're between races, you don't have a lot of time to eat, they can be quite useful. If you're doing an endurance event that's longer than an hour, then you might use energy gels, about 60 grams per hour of carbohydrate fructose, so that's maybe 2 energy gels that have 30 grams each. I would say vitamin D is a good all-rounder for the winter. Make sure you got vitamin D. It's good for your immunity and it's good for your bone health. Obviously, these two things are not directly related to performance, but they can impact on performance, so make sure you've done that.
So some of the recovery products are usually a combination of proteins and carbohydrates. And these are quite carefully formulated to try and ensure that we're getting the best delivery of amino acids and carbohydrate. The carbohydrate we're really wanting there to try and replace the glycogen, rebuild the muscle glycogen, the energy stores, and the protein, the amino acids are there to really try and help with the protein synthesis and recovery of the muscle.
Trying to get a good night's sleep is good. This is all about sleep hygiene. When I talk about sleep hygiene, I talk about your behaviours, your environment and your diet. So creating a nice sleep environment, making sure that you've got a nice sleep ritual, having a bath, whatever it is that you choose to do for a good bed. But diet can play a small role in helping you to sleep. So when we're thinking about foods, we've got foods like foods that contain tryptophan, which is an amino acid that is used to make serotonin in the brain, which is then converted into the sleep hormone melatonin. So you find this in foods like oily fish, turkey, soy, milk, those kind of foods. Now, if you're going to eat those foods before bed, it's quite good to combine them with a carbohydrate because this helps with the uptake of this amino acid. It has a lot of competition from the other amino acids. So when you eat a carbohydrate food, your body produces insulin and it pulls those amino acids away so tryptophan can make it up into the brain. So think about maybe some turkey with rice, some salmon with pasta, that kind of food.
One of the things that we found useful from an athlete perspective when I've been working with athletes and been in heavy training is having just a little bit of casein-based type of proteins before you go to bed. Like a yogurt can be quite useful with a spoonful of honey in that. What we've got there is just something that's slowly digested, but it's not a huge hit that's going to really push the temperature up. It maintains our amino acid pool, helps with the recovery, and some of the honey just helps to restore the muscle glycogen. When we look across this from an immunity point of view, there's lots of nutrients that support our immune system. And again, it's really about ensuring that we're getting adequate supplies of these nutrients. And these are the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Carbohydrate is an important nutrient for our immune system. And so what we need to make sure is that our diet is adequate. And sometimes for athletes in particular, when they're under high pressure stress times, such as travel, competition, the quality of nutrition can be compromised a little bit, and that can often lead to people picking up these infections.
70% of your immune system resides in your gut, so keeping your gut healthy is important. So make sure your diet's got lots of nice probiotic foods, sort of yogurts. Vitamin C, you might have heard about for cold. Some evidence that vitamin C helps to reduce the severity of a cold and the time of infection. And then other nutrients in the diet like selenium, iron, zinc, vitamin A. These are used to, the minerals are used to make antibodies which help to fight infection in the body. And then vitamin A, for example, helps to give us good barrier protection from infections. So make sure that the membranes in our noses, for example, and our ears are appropriately functioning properly.